Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tower Dive TV Weekly number 42. I'm Gil Frost, and joining me shortly will be simply Tim. We are going into the picks and bans for the first game. This is the best of 32, or excuse me, best of 16 actually round. And the teams today are going to be Team New York here on Team Blue, and they're going to be facing off against Army of Five on Team Purple / Team Red. Yeah, as far as the picks and bans go, so far, fairly standard. I am a little bit surprised at the Caitlyn ban. I mean, Zach and Vayne have been pretty popular bans lately. And then, of course, Malphite and Thresh on the other side of things as well. Fairly standard bans. But that Caitlyn, I guess they might know something that I don't know about this Army of Five team. And they wanted to get those strong AD carries out of the game. And as far as picks go, we do have the first three picks here as well. Ari picked up here for Team New York. An interesting choice because, well, I mean, I usually that mid lane champion is saved till later because of how easy it is to counter those mid laners, those AP carries, and so really just wanting to get that first. And we actually saw a lot of Ari. This super week here in the LCS, so definitely a very popular champion these days. On the other side of things, Army of Five, the Generals, as I like to call them, picked up Orianna and Elise, two very, very strong champions. Feeling very free to pick that AP carry after seeing that Ari pick there from Team New York, so they go ahead and pick up that Orianna, and then Elise, just a very popular first pick there. Very flexible, can go in the jungle or the top lane with ease, and even sometimes in that support role as well. Wouldn't expect that necessarily too much this tournament, but it is a possibility. And on the other side of things, we do have actually Jarvan the Fourth and Cho'Gath both picked in. So there is the possible front line here for Team New York, and we'll see what they can do with that. Obviously, Jarvan, a very, very popular pick. A couple of patches ago had a very slight nerf, but his toolkit's just very strong right now, and so he's going to be very strong in this early game. Really good ganker here in the first 6-8 levels, and then he really doesn't peter off too much with his toolkit and his ultimate, and just a very strong champion pick. On the other side of things, we do have Irelia being locked in, and then Nami looks like is going to be the support here coming out of Team Army of Five, and so I think that is going to indeed be an Elise in the jungle. I think Irelia will probably be in that top lane, doing that solo work that she does, and then Nami, of course, another very, very strong pick here as far as supports go. Fifth most popular support in NA LCS, right? Or excuse me, actually sixth most popular pick as far as supports go in the NA LCS right now. So gonna have a great time with that ultimate once they hit 6, and looks like the AD carry and support are being hovered over here for Team New York, and opting for possibly a Leona and Ezreal. It looks, I can't imagine they would not want to take this duo. I mean, obviously they have 10 seconds left to choose here, but still both, it's a very strong combination. Leona, pretty popular in solo queue, all things considered. Not as popular in the LCS. If she doesn't really get going, if you aren't able to apply that heavy pressure early on, it's very difficult to get going with her. She's got a pretty decent toolkit coming into team fights, but it's just not as versatile as a lot of the supports are. And General J Panda, the last pick here for Army of Five, and hovering over Tristana right now, looking at Twitch, possibly thinking very heavily about what pick they want here. Either one would be fairly good, but you gotta try to think of an escape here, as obviously that Leona is going to be able to get some pretty serious lockdown in the lane. And yes, they do indeed go with Tristana, and the swaps coming out. So it looks like Tristana and Nami will be in the spot lane, facing off against Leona and Ezreal. And talking a little bit more about that Leona pick versus picks like Nami, and why Leona is not nearly as popular in the LCS, and either in Europe or the NA. And I mean, if you'll look at the top 5, or really the top 6 champions, since Nami is that 6th. Thresh is obviously number 1 as far as picks and bans, but Nami, Sona, Janna, Zyra, and who else am I missing? But anyway, if you look at the list of the supports, they are almost all going to have sustain, but really the big defining factor for these supports that are being so popularized and showing a pretty high win rate as well are the ones with the AoE ultimates that especially the AoE ultimates that are versatile for disengage or engage. Obviously, that Sona ultimate, Zyra ultimate. I mean, Nami. These are all extremely powerful AoE ultimates from a supportive standpoint, and that's why champions like Leona not quite as popular, just because of the versatility that you get from some of these other champions. But either way, that is going to be the teams for today's game. Excited to see. I've seen Army of 5 play before, but I have not personally seen Team New York, and I'm excited for this 42nd TowerDiveTV weekly tournament. And once again, this is Gil Frost, and we'll be going in here shortly. Tim, are you there?
I am. Hello, Gil. How are you?
Tim is joining me now, and yeah, Tim, what do you think so far of the picks and bans?
It looks like pretty standard picks. I mean, we've kind of see. I don't see a whole lot of Irelia top anymore. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm looking forward to that. But they're pretty standard picks, you know, at least in the jungle. J4 in the jungle. I'm very interested in the the Ezreal and yeah,
Ezreal and Leona pick there. Yeah,
Ezreal and Leona pick. Just because it's such a deadly lane. I mean, like, if you get caught out, there's just a whole lot of CC there and a whole lot of damage, and that can be a very powerful thing early, and you do not want to feed an Ez early. That could work out well for Team New York, but, you know, then again, Tristana's range, if they do not get that early advantage, Tristana's range just grows and grows and grows, and towards the end, she's a pretty formidable opponent.
Yeah, she is definitely going to be more of a late game carry. With that, I would not be surprised if we saw a lane swap. We don't see a lot of lane swaps and a lot of interesting anything outside the normal meta generally in these tournaments, because neither of these teams have practiced against each other, played against each other probably very much anyway. And so generally we see standard lanes, but Irelia will be able to farm under her own turret fairly well. And I mean, obviously, yeah, that Leona and Ezreal is going to be scary no matter what. And Tristana and Nami really just going to be looking to get farmed up. So we'll see here coming into the game what that looks like. But yeah, that Irelia pick, it's bringing me back to Season 2 right now. And yeah, we'll see here. As we actually can talk about summoner spells now. You're not going to be able to see them right now, but we do actually have teleport here on Irelia. And so she is going to be possibly looking at some split push and some global pressure there. And other than that, I mean, it's fairly standard picks. The one big surprise, I guess, after that would be barrier on Tristana, which and this is another reason why I think that there's a possibility we might see a lane swap is, with that Leona. That's some serious lockdown you're going to see there, and bringing the cleanse would have probably been a better pick just in general against such a lockdown support like Leona, but opting for that barrier. And now we're going to go into the champion select screen here shortly, and it's my favorite part of the game, and that is the skin vantage analysis to see who has the advantage in this game purely based on their skins. And so once we get in there, I'm gonna ask you, what do you think? What do you think here, Tim? Who's got the better skins in this face-off?
Oh, I'm all about the Lubu J4. You don't pursue Lubu, and you don't pursue J4, and when you combine those two, you have a deadly ganking maniac. My vote's for J4 on this one, just because I love that style.
Yeah. I would have to agree. Right now, I mean, the skin vantage here overall, Army of 5 with their 5 skins to 4, but that J4 I think makes up for it there. And I'm a big fan of TPA Ezreal just because. But either way, yeah, lots of skins coming out here. 1 week ago, the only disappointment here in this game, bringing the regular Ari skin to the table.
Look, but Ari's saying I don't need a skin. Like I have my skill, I have my abilities, and I am Ari, which is OP. So I feel I don't need to be dressed up in order to show you that I can just beat the hell out of you. And I appreciate the sentiment, Ari.
The sentiment, just she is her own woman, I guess, in this game. But yeah, as far as Summoner Spell goes, yeah, like I said, that Tristana bringing that barrier instead of opting for that cleanse, and so we'll see if we'll see about a lane swap. As far as level ones go, I mean, who do you expect? Do you expect any level one action here in this game?
I mean, we might see an invade by Team New York because they have quite a bit of CC. If Ari can go Charm first, you have Cho's pop up, you have Leona's million CCs. I mean, it might be a good idea for them to invade, but on the other hand, everyone on I'm sorry, their name is leaving my mind right now, but everyone on the opposite team, Army of Five, they have quite a bit of escapes. I mean, Nami can hold them back with their CC. Elise can get away. Elise has some CC. Trist has a jump. So I don't know if they'll go quite for the invade. I think they're better off just sticking traditional, stay to their own jungle, eat off your own plate.
Yeah, no, I would imagine that's what I would expect. I would agree, though, that if Team New York did want to go for a level one, they probably do have an advantage. But yeah, as we've seen, like I said, so often in these tournaments where neither of these teams have practiced against each other, really seen each other, don't really know what to expect. Generally people play it safe, and it's generally a best practice to just play your game, try to outplay the other team. Don't worry about trying anything janky. And so yeah, it looks like we may see really just a vision war here around the bottom side of the mid lane here.
And we're seeing Ezreal and Tristana both going Dorans as their first item. There's no hesitation. They want to go all damage. They want to try and get aggressive. So I think that's why Tristana may have gone barrier, because of the jump refreshes every time she gets a kill. She just kind of wants to go in, get the dirty damage, get a kill, and then get out of there. I mean, that's usually why you would go Doran, so you can poke harder.
Then that has been the build of choice, I think, for ED carries as of late. And but it looks like we are not going to see too much of a level one here. Both teams are going to be content just to take their own buffs. Red here for Jarvan on the side of Team New York, and then Army of Five will be giving the blue here to General Lee on Elise, it looks like. It also looks like we probably are not going to see a lane swap. Looks like both duo laners dual lanes are in the bot here, so we are going to see a pretty standard meta as far as laning goes.
I also just want to add that I'm just now realizing that the Irelia is named General Motors, and I have to say I really appreciate the cleverness of that.
Yeah, General Lee Win is the only other real punny general name, but yeah, General Motors. I saw him last week play actually. But anyway, so it looks like pretty standard opening. I would expect most of the action to be happening here in the bot lane. Top lane's going to be fairly boring, I would imagine, as General Motors and X Runs are going to be mostly farming up, I would imagine, here, and just dancing back and forth. But we'll see here as a lot of CC coming out here in the bot lane.
It's a very aggressive bot lane. I mean, it's kind of have to be when you have a Leona. It's all about aggression, and even Nami someone is very much an aggressive support. But looking top, we can see that the top is going to be very much a farm game. I mean, with Cho's passive, you can try and come in and get the pokes, but he's just kind of going to make it back up in the farm. So it's pretty much a race to see who will gank top first.
Yeah, it looks like Elise and Jarvan are both in the area, picking up their second buffs there, and so we'll see if we see any action here in this top lane as Cho is pushing up fairly aggressively right now. Irelia trying to do her best to farm under pressure here, popping that healing potion. In this bottom lane, it is a vision-dominated battle here right now. Nami dropping down 2 vision wards here, one in the tri-brush and then one around that early dragon. And then, of course, Leona actually dropped a vision ward here in the banana bush, or excuse me, the side bush there. Is actually General Sizzle does get jumped on. Cariana now being brought very low by the stun and damage here from General Sizzle, who jumps in there, forces the flash out of Leona. Carry is going to be all right, going to pop that healing potion, but a lot of damage and a nice counter initiation there by General Stomp with that stun. And it looks like Horazan was just a little bit too far behind to do too much damage in that interaction.
General Sizzle did burn the flash, though, so that's going to be a huge blow to Leona. I mean, yes, Leona is all about going in, and if you can't escape, if they get caught out by the Nami bubble, I mean, that's a free kill.
Most definitely. We did actually just have a little bit of action here in the top lane. We had both junglers and both top laners getting into a little tussle. But not much came of it. Elise repelled into the air and safely escaped. That is actually, they do get a stun onto Looney. General Motors jumps in there. Cho is a little bit late to the fight, but Elise is not going to be able to get in there with that repel. It's going to jump onto Extrins. It's now a 2-on-1 against Cho. And he is going to get a nice pop-up there and slow, and he's going to escape to safety as well. But Looney being brought very low, and a nice stun there from Elise. And General Motors jumping in there as well, gets off a nice little bit of damage. Actually, General Sizzle gets jumped on here in the bottom lane. Horizon jumps in there as well. General Stomped low on mana right now, trying to get off some auto attacks to support Sizzle, who actually jumps in there, forces the flash out of Horizon, who's under his turret, being brought very low, and Carrie's going to have to return to the turret as well, as actually they do turn back around. General Sizzle and Horizon both very low. And it is an action-packed game here with no kills as of yet.
This is a very aggressive bot lane. I mean, they're both equal. They both have Doran's rings on. I would imagine they both have same runes. Oh,
first blood actually goes out as Tristana tries to jump in there. Is going to pick up the kill onto Ezreal, but that first blood actually going over to the side of Team New York, and they're going to have a Leona with 1 kill right now. And so a little bit of a risky move there for General Sizzle, and overall, I think probably not the best one in this circumstance.
Well, I would disagree with that somewhat, because while they did give up the first blood to Blue Team, Leona has the kill. So Ezreal's not going to get that gold. Tristana, however, does get that gold. So we're going to see higher itemization, higher damage out of Tristana, and a little bit of extra, that extra 300 is going to go a long way.
That's actually very true, and I completely didn't think about the fact that both AD carries were out of lane for about the same amount of time with that, as well as actually we do have some action here in the top lane. General Motors being jumped on. Looney actually does not, he dodges that stun by General Lee. Going to try to get some action here. The turret is not doing as much as they want it to, and Looney is going to escape once again from that repel, and all this action here from the junglers in the top lane finally pays off as a second kill is picked up for Team New York, and that one going in the hands of Jarvan.
Those Jarvan ganks are just absolutely destructive. I mean, Jarvan, he can be a very tanky champion, he can deal a lot of damage, and his escapes are so good. The range on his spear escape is just so powerful. I mean, he's such a good asset. I've heard a lot of people advise that if you want to get high in solo queue to master Jarvan, but I think that Team New York is showing that it's not just solo queue. It's, he can work very, very well in a team comp as well.
Most definitely, yeah, I know, and he is one of those champions. But either way, General Lee has actually been spotted out by this ward here, and so 1 week ago should be able to be safe as far as that goes. But he does actually get stunned here. General Lee, though, gets charmed, but the huge ultimate there from J Panda is going to get off quite a bit of damage. Jumping under that turret, pops the Ignite. Ignites are actually traded back and forth, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 in the mid lane as Ahri gets back. Too many turrets hits for that army of 5, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 in the mid lane. Ahri traded there for Orianna.
That was an excellent play by Ahri 1 week ago. I'm sorry. She knew she was going to die. She had the Ignite on her. It was only a matter of time, and she just went right back in. She went for it, and her ball was spectacular. I mean, it was wonderful aim. Big ups to 1 week ago. Great play.
Most definitely. And once again in this bot lane, we've got two Viz wards there from red side. Their army of 5 trying to maintain dominance here in this area. They I don't. Do they not have vision of this ward in the Dragon Pit? I'm not sure. No, it doesn't look like they do. But either way, generally is in the bot lane, and they are going to be looking for a gank here as Cariana and Horizon are playing a fairly aggressive front line here, and they do actually initiate some damage onto Horizon. Cariana is getting in there, but does have to flash out there. Seeing that generally did not want to have to contend with that stun, and they're going to get out safely. But another flash burn from Leona, and yeah, another unsuccessful gank there from Elise.
They did successfully put pressure on this bot lane, though, and it's just really going to push the advantage of this Tristana. Tristana still does have that 1 kill, and she has about a 10 CS advantage, which, you know, CS is the important thing. I mean, champion kills can only do so much. CS is your bread and butter. And, you know, that 10 can turn into 20, can easily turn into 30. That's just the way these things go. It's Tristana picks up more pressure. So with the flash down on Leona, we're going to see a lot less pressure off Tristana and a lot more on Team New York.
Yeah, this is both teams just battering back and forth. There's actually Elise joining the mid lane here. Is going to get off another ultimate there from J-Panda onto 1 week ago. 1 week ago, though, popping that ultimate defensively is going to get out of there safely. And once again, generally, really just applying that pressure to the lane with that gank. Oh, she's actually going to stay in the area. 1 week ago, returning to the lane. Pops a healing potion as well as a mana potion, it looks like. But generally gets in there. Oh, is going to force a flash out of 1 week ago. A lot of action in the bottom lane as General Sizzle actually gets the kill onto Leona. Is going to try to turn on to Horizon. But Leona, without that flash, was able to actually get picked up as General Sizzle jumps into Horizon. Pops that barrier. Is it going to be enough as General Sizzle tries to get off that last attack? And it is going to be a kill going to Tristana here in this bot lane. That's actually a double kill for her. And that's a 3-1-0 Tristana. And she is backing to pick up some items.
In my opinion, that was not the best play on Team New York. I mean, they have vision of that bush. They knew Tristana was in there, and they saw Tristana's health. Yet Horizon decided to go back in anyway, I guess to try and pick up CS. But, you know, he knew that Leona went down and that jump was up. I mean, that was just... maybe he just bugged himself out because he saw that his CS was so much lower than Tristana's, but I don't know. That was probably not the best advised play, but here's hoping that Horizon can pick it up and a little bit later in the game.
Yes, either way, that Tristana is definitely gaining a handy advantage here as X runs and General Motors do get out here in the top lane, and actually, yeah, General Motors pops that ultimate, going to get off a few of those to force X runs to back out. But yeah, we actually might see some action near the bottom. We have 3v2. Elise is in the background, but General Sizzle has jumped on, gets a lot of ultimate action there. Is still just a little under half health, and now Horizon is being jumped on. General Lee gets in there. Is going to get off some damage, but he's going to go down. Horizon actually picking up that kill on Ezreal. Jarvan now popping that ultimate, forcing the flash out of General. General Sum and General Sizzle as well, now forced under his own turret. General J-Panda being brought very low. Oh, is going to live through that in the mid lane as well. But yeah, huge plays coming out here. 5-5 right now, and overall a 2-for-1 actually in favor of Team New York. It's Ezreal the only one to go down in that interaction. It looks like they may look to push this tower a little bit.
I gotta tell you, I don't know if my heart can handle this game. This is a lot of action.
Right as, oh my gosh, another trade 1-for-1 in the mid. As the battle of Ahri or Orianna here continues in the mid lane. 2-2-0 for both of them, and just a slight farm advantage for Ahri right now.
I really can see this. If I had to call it right now, I would definitely call the Generals here, just because of the sheer gold that General Sizzle is picking up. I mean, in that last fight, we did see Elise go down, but, you know, she brought Ezreal low enough for Tristana to just come back in, give him a poke. And now Tristana is 4-1-0. Has got that BF sword built. Yeah, she's really nothing to shake a stick at. A very formidable opponent, and you do not want to mess with a Tristana that's fed.
Yeah, as they continue to push that advantage here in the bot lane. Still not very much damage on this turret, and of course this is the most recent patch, so it is going to be a little more difficult to get any damage onto those turrets here in the early game. But still very little damage for all the action that has been happening. It's just been back and forth here in this top lane, but Tristana definitely winning out in the end here.
I mean, and Tristana is pretty fed right now. Like, she is strong, but the gold advantage is still very slightly in Team New York's side.
Oh, is actually X-Run jumps onto General Motors here in the top lane, pops his ultimate, pops his Ignite, and picks up the kill onto this Irelia in the top lane, and General Motors is forced to relinquish his lane to General Lee here for a bit. Well, Elise kind of tries to maintain, soak up some of this experience and farm here from X-Runs.
I mean, I may just have to eat my words, because while Tristana is fed, every other lane on Team New York has the advantage. And now, with that Irelia death, they do have a 700 gold advantage. So, only time will tell. This is a very intense game, very close, very neck and neck. We'll see how this pans out.
And it looks like Jarvan kind of dancing around this bot lane a little bit, doesn't like what he sees, and of course the vision advantage right now squarely in the hands of Nami and Tristana here from Army of 5. And so actually Horizon pops that ultimate to pick up a few minion kills, if nothing else. And now we go back to the middle of this lane where we'll be pushing back and forth. But yeah, it looks like Jarvan actually getting pretty far behind here. Going to be looking for a possible gank here, but is actually going to be spotted out. They did see this Elise here, and so he just gets out safely. And he was in a little bit of a bad way there. It's actually J-Panda jumped on by 1 week ago. Pops that ultimate, does get off the charm. It's going to get off a lot of damage. General Panda actually misses the ultimate. Is going to escape with her life, and there's no Ezreal to be worried about right now. And so right now, 1 week ago, just flexing those muscles here in the mid lane is going to get off more damage onto this turret and may actually be able to pick it up here with this next minion wave.
J4's hanging around, so J4 is probably definitely going to come in and help. But Elise is taking some damage by J4. I'm not 100% sure what she's trying to pull off here, except to pull J4 off the turret.
I guess just really wanting to protect that mid turret, but it's not going to be enough as Ahri does bring it down. And that's going to be the first turret going in the hands of Team New York, and that global objective is going to give them a pretty good gold lead in addition to that farm advantage that they do have currently.
The only real downfall for Team New York, and an engage happens.
Oh, and that Ahri ultimate is going to come across. It's not going to hit anybody though, as they were all a little bit too far away, and really they were trying to initiate a 2v1. Carry is very low there. Carriana anyway, but still kind of a risky move there, as actually they do turn onto Baron. They are going to be spotted out though, as both stuns actually burn for Stumped and General Lee, and we'll see what they can do. It's going to be 3 Ahri joining the fray here shortly, Orianna in the area as well, and we could see a 4v4. General Motors is there, does have teleport, may be able to get in there. So it could be a 5v4 here shortly, as actually Elise does pick up that dragon. Well, 1 week ago does get stunned there actually, but it's not going to be enough, and both teams are just going to back off from this. Irelia pushed back to her own turret, does not want to lose that, and they're just going to take that dragon to the bank. And yeah, that's going to bring the gold a little bit closer.
That was kind of a no-win situation for the generals here. You know, they kind of, or rather, Team New York. The generals just have a lot of poke. They have a lot of zoning ability. I mean, with you have Orianna, you have Nami, you have Elise, you have Tristana, and if they went in, everyone on Team New York was pretty low. So there was at least the probability that they would all wipe and also give the generals a dragon. So I think that was probably a well-advised, lesser of two evils to let them have the dragon instead of get their proverbial butts handed to them.
Most definitely, and yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they were necessarily even thinking about that. They didn't even need to think about that. Because with all that tools that that Team the Army of 5 has, yeah, they just were really looking for a mistake. If anything, just kind of trying to see if there's an opportunity to steal that dragon away. But the generals did not let it happen, and they came out a dragon stronger. And Tristana is actually going to be returning to lane with that Infinity Edge. Picked that up, I believe, after that last interaction is 1 week ago. Picks up blue here for herself in the mid lane. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty powerful. I mean, the Mana Mune picked up from Ezreal, but that Infinity Edge is going to be pretty scary here from the side of General Sizzle.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Ezreal still has the poke, but Tristana just has the DPS.
As actually Looney jumps in there into the mid lane, gets a kill onto Orianna, who does not have a turret to escape to, and that is going to be a fairly easy kill there. Does have to pop that ultimate, but that is about it. And yeah, one more kill there going to J4, who's 3-0-1 right now, as Elise has to return to the mid lane to continue to back up his mid and top lanes. We're both down right now, as actually General Motors narrowly escapes X-Run's rupture there in the top lane. But
General Lee Win. Oh, okay. General Lee Win has been spending a lot of time running around mid trying to defend this mid tower as Ari just steady pushes. But meanwhile, General Motors is kind of fighting a losing battle up here. I mean, he's behind in CS. Cho is constantly has him push and is just dealing so much damage to that tower. And Elise is just really not hanging out up top or babysitting or helping out. I mean,
is actually, we do have some interactions here in the bottom lane. General Sizzle being jumped on by Looney does actually escape that ultimate there from Cariana, and they're going to return to the safety of their turret. They did get up a lot of damage onto Cariana and Warzan there on Ezreal, but they were unable to convert any kills as Jarvan was in the area to protect this. Actually, they do jump onto Warzan now, pops that barrier. Is it going to be enough as they do get off enough damage? Tristana picking up that kill. General Sizzle now going to be turning on to Looney, and it's going to be a, what is that, a 4v1 really, as Looney actually takes quite a bit of damage before going down, and overall a 3-for-0 exchange as they also picked up Cariana in that interaction, and a huge advantage now, I think, for that, just specifically for that Tristana in that bot lane with 5 kills, and that is going to be the saving grace here for Army of 5 if they can pull through in this one.
And Army of 5 did just pick up the global objective, so while not 30 seconds ago they were behind, now they are ahead by about 500, 600 gold? 800 gold, actually. You know, when you got a fed Tristana, your whole team's ahead 800 gold. You know, things are looking good for Army of 5.
Yeah, and I think really coming into these team fights, it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with this Tristana, because, I mean, you know, you have that Orion. Actually, General Motors jumps on to 1 week ago with General Lee in the background, but 1 week ago does escape the stun, and so they are going to have to back off of that, as all 5 members, though, of Army of 5 do gather here in the mid lane. 3 members currently are there for Team New York, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Actually, General Sizzle gets jumped on by 1 week ago, is going to go down to that. Or is he actually? Looney actually has to jump in there with the ultimate to pick up the kill. But getting a little bit out of position there, Tristana goes down and gives up a fair amount of gold with that.
It's never a good idea to dance around an Ahri. I mean, especially an Ahri who can sink a charm. That was a great charm by 1 week ago.
Yeah, 1 week ago has been landing those charms all day long, and that one was a huge one. As actually the top turret goes down, Cho now pushing along onto this inner turret as well. Is actually 1 week ago does get caught up by General Lee. That stun there is going to land. General Lee now looking to get in there. Nami ultimate goes across. It's only going to land on a Cariana in this one, but 1 week ago looks like may escape there, and yeah, actually does get off a little bit of trade damage onto Lee. Win is actually Cariana is going to go down from this. Once again, actually, General Win picking up that kill with another land of that stun. And they are going to have a 4-2 advantage here in this mid lane if they choose to capitalize on it.
I mean, that was a good fight on Army of 5, but meanwhile, Cho is steady pushing top. You know, that second tier tower up top is almost down. And Team New York, once again, has a large gold advantage. I mean, they also just picked up, when Looney got the kill on General Sizzle, they also just picked up a lot of shutdown gold.
Yes, as they do jump on Looney here, underneath its own tower here in the mid lane, they are going to pick up the kill, and they may be able to pick up a tower after this as well, as Ezreal is the only one in the area. But yeah, that top tower is very low here for the Generals. They're going to get that other turret. It's going to be 3-2 overall, but that top turret is just a couple of auto attacks away.
This game is neck and neck. I mean, it's 22 minutes, and we only have about like a 500 gold advantage. I mean, that's usually by this time you'll start to see the scales tipping. And while the kills are on the side of Army of 5, it's really all about the gold. And you know, that 500 gold advantage at 22 minutes is not huge. I mean, it's something, but this game could go either way, really.
Yeah, no, it is an incredibly close game, as it looks like Team New York looking to pick up a dragon to add to their lead, and I don't think there's much Army of 5 can do about it. They just don't have anybody in the area, and yes, that is going to be a dragon going over to Team New York. And actually a stun coming out from General Lee, just poking onto X-Runs. That's not the target you want to catch out. It's actually General Stomped, narrowly escapes an almost certain death there. That rupture nearly lands, but yeah, he's going to escape from that. And yeah, just a super even game right now. All the eggs for Army of 5, or most of the eggs anyway, into that Tristana basket. And they're going to have the ability to block and protect her a bit anyway with their toolkit. As actually Elise gets jumped on here. General Sizzle is in the area as well. Looney taking a lot of damage. General Sizzle is going to get out of there and lay down some paint onto Looney. Extran's trying to block here in the front line. General Stomped and J Panda are now in the area, and we may see a team fight. Ezreal is in the bot lane, though, so it could be a 5v4. A huge ultimate there lands from General Stomped, and that is going to give them the opportunity to pick up 2 kills. Elise picking up the kill on the Leona, Tristana picking the kill on the Cho'Gath. 1 week ago, pops that ultimate reactively, or defensively rather, trying to trade a little bit of damage back and forth, but it's not going to be enough as Extra General Motors just get off the stun onto 1 week ago, and it is going to be a kill, actually. Orianna picking that up, and that is going to be overall a 3-for-0 as Ezreal continues to push this bottom lane, but I don't think that that was a win for the farm that he got. Did not do much else here in this bot lane.
No, really even things out. You know, that advantage that Team New York just picked up with the Dragon was pretty much wiped out as they got kind of smushed there. I mean, Army of 5 is, you know, they, like as you say, they are putting all their eggs in the Tristana basket, but I think that may be for the best. I mean, J4 does have a lot of kills. He has 4 kills, but J4 isn't really the person you want to have the kills. J4 is the person you want to have the assists. I mean, with the jungler, jungling, it's all about, you know, you have to get yours, but it's all about getting your lanes fed. And I think he kind of failed bot lane a little bit. He does have the 4 kills, and he is formidable, but he just doesn't have the damage of a pure DPS like an AD carry or like an Ezreal.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you got those kills in the hand of Ari, you might get a chance to at least get picks on that Tristana.
Yeah,
with those charms that she has been landing, but right now, yeah, all your kills are on your tanky jungler. It's actually 4 members here gathering, and soon to be 5 from Team New York here in the mid lane. Is looks like I really are looking to get that top turret down if possible, or at least apply some pressure there. But it could be another 5v4, this time in favor of Team New York, if they choose to dive into this turret. As they actually do catch out General Sizzle, they are going to get out a lot of damage. The ball goes on to General Sizzle, going to keep him alive for now. The Nami ultimate coming out as well, and that turret is wailing on Looney right now. Carry being brought very low. Elise is going to hop into the air, going to get in there. But is going to go down, actually. Cho'Gath eating her alive. Tristana now picking up a double kill. I really picked up that top turret as well. General Panda being brought very low is going to get picked up by that Ezreal ult, and overall a 3-for-3, but the turret is going in favor. Actually, I guess both of them trading a turret here. This top turret for this mid turret, and Hwarasan is now pushing on to General Stomped here in the mid lane. I really is going to be closing on them from the back of the mid lane, but actually does now choose to back out, not liking that look here as Cho'Gath is going to spot her out. Not soon enough, though. And yeah, overall, 1-for-1 in turrets and a 3-for-3 exchange underneath Army of 5's tower.
Now, split pushing is a very advisable strategy. I mean, it only makes sense going around the other guy and getting him while he's down. But it's always a gamble, especially like we just saw there. If Irelia was there, they might have gotten. I would go so far as to say an ace. I mean, they were fighting under tower. They dove in, and you know, Tristana was just melting faces. Like, just the damage that she's putting out is ridiculous. She's got that Infinity Edge. She's got that Phantom Dancer. Just a lot of damage. And if Irelia had been there and not going top lane, they might have wiped. They might have got an ace there, but you know, she did pick up the gold advantage a little bit, but Team New York also got a tower and also got more kills, so Team New York is ahead in gold.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as control goes as well, trading that top tower for the mid tower, I mean, that inner mid tower is going to open up a ton of the map here for Team New York if they, you know, choose to take advantage of it, and that top tower is going to allow a little bit more of that split push from Army of 5. But overall, I think a victory here for Team New York, although this game is still just neck and neck right now.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Irelia just seems to be wandering around in jungle. I think she's just looking for something to pick up. Trying to pick up a little bit of CS. Cho still has 50 CS over her. They were laned. Obviously, the laning phase is over, but you know, you never want to drop on your CS. The most important thing in League of Legends.
Yes, indeed. It actually looks like Cho'Gath looking for a pick is going to get a nice little rupture on a J-Pan. It does pop that Ignite as well, looking to eat her alive, but it's not going to be enough. It's actually General Motors now being ruptured. General Sizzle, though, getting off a lot of damage, is going to jump out of there. Neither team really liking that, although the Anami ult does come across, then they're going to look at getting some damage onto Cariana, who actually has to flash out to escape the stun. General Motors, though, being caught under Looney's ultimate. Cho'Gath is actually going to eat the Spider once again, and Ezreal cleaning up a kill as well. Tristana does pick up a kill onto Ahri, but Ahri is going to actually get a double kill onto Tristana and Nami, and overall a 4-for-1 only 1 week ago going down there from Team New York, and they just played that team fight positioning incredibly well, and now they're leaving General J Panda by herself to try to defend this inhibitor turret.
The J4 ultimate separating Irelia from the rest of her team. A great play, essentially taking off all peel of Tristana. I mean, you had Nami, but Nami isn't quite Leona. She can't just throw CC all the time. And when you leave Ahri alone with the Tristana, she just dealt so much damage to Tristana, and she, even though Trist really does have the damage, she has a lot of sustain too with that Vampiric Scepter. You just can't handle a closed range fight with someone who can just unleash the DPS like Ahri can.
Yeah, no, and Ahri just bursting her down, and yeah, that's going to be an inhibitor for Team New York, and they're going to turn that into some vision advantage around the Baron pit here, and that may be where we see the next bit of action, as actually Army 5 looking at least picking up the cancellation prize of Dragon here. Yeah, and you'll see
a
both
free dragon's always good.
Yeah, free dragon never hurts. And it looks like actually Jarvan is going to spot out Lee, Motors, and Sizzle here, but nothing's going to become of that, as Ezreal and Leona were a little bit too far away for them. But yeah, both supports trying to get wards around the Baron here. They both know that this is probably the next big point of contention. And yeah, looks like right now Team New York looking to bait something out, using that vision advantage that they have, and they may be able to get his General Stomped actually gets jumped on. General Motors is in the area as well. Ruptured not going to land on anybody but Spiderlings, though, as the dance continues here around the Baron.
But Nami did get out the ward, and although it was there for only momentarily, it confirmed that it was completely a bait. I mean, they might have had an idea, but now, just even though it may have been a wasted ward, they know for sure that they were not even dueling with the Baron, not even playing with him, but just purely waiting. But that may change.
Yes, as they actually do engage on it here, and they are going to continue to use this vision advantage that they have, but it may be futile as both teams continuing to dance, and Cariana being brought very low. That is not a super tanky Leona that you'd like to see, currently only with the Aegis and Sightstone as far as any sort of tanky items. And actually with that, Army of 5 is going to flex their muscles a little bit and gain a little bit of a position there, as General Motors actually being caught out by extra, and Huarzan is in the area as well, trying to get a little bit of poke damage out, but it's not going to be enough as General Lee gets ruptured as well. Going to be hit by that blue. Ezreal's Nami ult does come across, is going to land on 4 members there of Team New York, and a lot of ultimates coming out across. Cariana being brought very low is going to go down. Ahri, though, picking up the kill onto Irelia. Sizzle now being ulted, jumped on by X-Runs, but it's not going to be enough as he does use that rocket jump to get out of there. But overall, a 1-for-2 exchange, and they are continuing to chase on a J Panda, so it looks like it is going to be a 3-for-1 unless J Panda can pull some pretty awesome magic there. It actually does dodge that Ez ulti, but it's not going to be enough as Blue Ezreal keeps the chase on, and Horizon is going to pick up the kill. And with that, they're actually going to completely disregard the Baron and go ahead and take another one of these global objectives here in the turret in the top lane, as well as that inhibitor, which is now open.
A huge advantage for Team New York there. I mean, even as they were distracting Army of 5 in top lane, second-tier turret went down, and, you know, Army of 5 could not just leave them at Baron, leave them with a free Baron, so they couldn't go top. And meanwhile, that huge, just gigantic wave of minions was steady pushing, and it gave them tier 2 and tier 3 and inhibitor. Not only that, but they also just got wiped. This is a big, big blow, a huge blow for Army of 5 with a 5k gold deficit.
Yeah, and I mean, this really, I think, is just a testament to, you know, something that I think, a takeaway that everyone can learn from. And, I mean, you look at the kill, the kills 19-19, and but it's quite obvious that Team New York is winning, and that's really the farm and then those 8 turrets and those global advantages. Nothing to be scoffed at. They are really what win these games in the end, and the goal that you get from them as well is just the map presence and the control over the game in general. Yeah, those global objectives really are what's giving Army of Five a hard time right now.
I've seen that a lot in Season 3 where teams seem to be pressing gold advantages. I think because towards the end of Season 2, we saw a lot of Korean teams dominating the team, or the team, dominating the scene. And that's very much the way that Korean teams seem to play, is that they push objectives, whereas NA seems to always want to, team fight and wipe and then push. But, we're seeing a lot more change because Korea just simply wiped in Season 2. We're seeing a big change into... maybe we should start focusing on objectives. And I think it's a very, very advisable strategy. And I think the Team New York is doing it excellently.
Yeah, and right now they got a little. They kind of danced around Baron a little bit here, but now they're looking at this mid inhibitor that has respawned, is completely open, and Army of Five there. I don't know what they can do about this. If they're looking for a pick, some kind of positional advantage, but they are not going to get it, as it looks like Team New York are going to push down this middle inhibitor with no problem. Now General Lee trying to get in there, does not get that stun off, is going to take a lot of damage there from Ari. Huarazan continuing to throw out those Qs there from that with those Iceborne gauntlets, and yeah, they are going to get that free inhibitor as minions pour into the Army of Five base.
This may be a lost cause for Army of Five. I mean, bot tower is about to go down, and I would imagine in him shortly after.
Yeah, this is their homes deep right here. This is where they've got to make their stand. And Elise does know that, does get in onto X runs, but they do not like the positioning as General Sizzle goes down immediately, eaten by Cho'Gath. The ultimate comes in from Nami, but it's not going to be enough as all the generals are going down. Ezreal picking up a double kill. General Lee fleeing along with Stomped, and they are actually going to make it out of here alive. For now anyway, but yeah, a 3-for-0 so far exchange in favor of Team New York. They did get that tower. They're getting that inhibitor. And that could be it for the Army of Five.
Yeah, that does seem to be GG. I mean, that was really good focus by Team New York. They just unloaded everything they had on that Tristana. Cho'Gath swallowed her whole, and now their Nexus is going to go boom.
Yep, and that is going to be it. Once again, this is Gilfrost and Tim, and we're here at the TowerDiveTV Weekly 42nd tournament, and what a game. It was close. It was neck and neck almost the entire time, but Team New York continued to, they just caught out Tristana a lot, I feel like, and were able to nullify that late game carry and picked up a victory here in the best of 16 round. What else you got to say about that game, Tim?
The catalyst really was that Baron fake out. I mean, they stood in there, they distracted them long enough for their minion wave up top to grow. They took 2 global objectives just by minions, and then also wiped Army of Five. I mean, that just gave them such a huge gold lead, and they pressed their advantage, and they just went right for the Nexus. And that was a really good move. Team New York struggled a little bit early game, but a couple of really solid plays like that will win you the game, even if you feel like you're down a little bit.
Yep, and they definitely did make those plays. And once again, this has been the best of 16 round. We are going to have more League of Legends action here shortly. We're going to be building a lobby for the next game, so don't go anywhere. Tim, you're sticking with us, right?
I sure am, sir.
Okay, yeah, Tim and I will be back here shortly for some more League of Legends action. Don't go anywhere.